Next we're heading over to the young adult section, and the young adult librarian has a couple of areas. The young adult fiction goes on these shelving units right here by the window. We'll come in here. And lots of times the shelvers try to place them sort of in an alphabetical order. Once again, they're sort of just stood up in a nice display arrangement. Any that require a bookend to help them stand up, that's used. Then we'll come down past the regular non-adult area to the other end of the section, the young adult nonfiction, and on the very front side is where she has the new young adult nonfiction. And they're basically just placed all on this series of shelves here on the end. Face out when there's enough room, and when there isn't, certain items like these on the end are just stood up and placed in numerical order. Okay, next we're going to head over to the children's and take a look at their different areas. Okay, first we'll start with the new nonfiction area. All of the juvenile and easy nonfiction goes on these racks. They have them divided so that this first tier of racks is 0 to 500 in the Dewey Decimal, and then the second tier is 600 to 900 and biographies. So you basically just fit them in where you can and try and fill in any gaps that pop up. And once again, if there isn't room to face them out, they get stacked in their numerical order. If we go down this row here, we will come to the look and listen area, which is where all the new, audio and video, CDs, alternative media items are placed. And they're just nicely displayed if possible. In this case, it looks like some people have come and checked some things out. So there are some holes here, which as the staff comes on, they try and just fill things out so they look a little nicer. Now we come down past there to the Spanish section, which is the juvenile and children's Spanish collection. It has been divided into different areas, so new items can be placed with similar items if possible. Like in this case, we have rooms, so there's a juvenile fiction right next to the juvenile fiction stack. And items down here are new easy books, and they're placed above the easies. So over here there's not quite as much room, so you just try and fit them in as close as you can to the section that they apply to and face them out. Behind us is the children's comic section, and they have this whole tier of racks, which I'll back up a little bit so you can see. There you go. And their new items go on the top two shelves facing out with bookends to help them stand up. Then we'll come down further this aisle to the professional collection, and as you can see, there are a couple items that are new, and we don't have as many that come in, so they can easily just face out on the rack next to the rest of the items. Now we're going to turn around, come back out, and you'll see for the juvenile fiction, they're just stood up on the top of these central fiction racks. They have divisions, which I don't know if you'll be able to read, but like this section is new juvenile fiction A through D. So all of those items are then placed in order with the A's on the left end, and working your way up to the D's in the area closest to me. And each of these sides has a different grouping of letters, in this case E through H. And they continue down to this last section here, which is U to Z. As you can see, most of them are gone right now, but usually at the beginning of the month when we get a new batch of books out there, they would all be filled on the top here. And that's juvenile fiction. Next, let's come over to the easy books. They all, when new, sit on top of the shelving above the letter that applies to their author's last name. In this case, we have Cynthia Rylant's book, and so she's above the racks where Rylant would be filed. And that's the case through this whole section. All of these new books are just set facing out on the top of the racks. Okay. And now we will come over to the Easy Reader area of children's. This is the Easy Reader nonfiction. Any new items that come in here would be stood on top as well. I'm just going to pull a book out to use an example. And it would just stand on top of the shelf, just like that, facing out above the number that it applies to. And if we come around the corner to the Easy Reader fiction, it's the same thing. The new items are put on top of the shelf above the area where it would normally be shelved. Here's another one. And they just stack right up there. Okay. Well, that's about it, other than at the end of 4 months, the shelver, in particular, on the last day before the new month, will go out and remove all of the stickers that need to be removed, and we'll also then put those items in with the regular stack. So in this case, we're on the last day of March, so the shelver will go out and remove all of the labels that say 1207 on them, and that will leave the new month, April, beginning tomorrow. And then we'll also have January, February, and March. So that's 4 months that the items remain on the new shelves. And at the end of that time, the labels are removed, everything is placed wherever it belongs normally on the shelf. There you go. My discussion on the new areas, I skipped one of our largest, which is right by the circulation desk. It is our new fiction and nonfiction for adults. So here it begins with our new fiction. That includes our categories of mystery and sci-fi as well. And they have the whole first 3 divisions here. Then we come down to this large section, and this is all new nonfiction biographies. And the items are all displayed so they're easily seen face out. And where we don't have enough room, items will be placed with their spines out in their Dewey Decimal numerical order. And everything's, basically arranged from lower number on up to the highest 900s and the biographies on the end. There isn't any hard and fast rule on that. Basically, you want to just find space for things, but that's the general idea, to keep things easily locatable for any of our patrons. And there are some of the larger items that get placed down here on the bottom shelf. Okay, that's it. Thanks.